wait for some people to come in. Fool around with my settings a little bit. Sorry about this. This cable isn't really, let's see what these look like. That's not too bad. There we go. So if you're here, drop me a message or a comment rather. I know it's kind of a hard time and a hard day. Hey, Celtic Grandma, how are you? Good morning. So, it's a little early for the margarita, and it's kind of sweater weather here in upstate New York today. You know, just kind of chilling, rest in the back, not doing much of anything. I did find out today that, you know what, Celtic Grandma, I'm going to give you a blue wrench because you seem to always be here for me. So there you go. I talked to my surgeon's office this morning, and they will be calling me probably by tomorrow. Good morning, Winter Homestead. How are you? For a surgery date for my lumbar fusion. And this is good news, but at the same time, it's scary news because guess what? We still don't have a house. So, you know, recovery is going to be rough if we don't get something up quick. And the chances of us getting something up before my surgery is slim to none. But it is possible we might be able to get something up during my recovery if we get something quick. So I emailed the attorney this morning about the urgency again. And my husband had some communications with a farmer, and the farmer, who's been great through all this, actually said that he would call his insurance company this morning and find out what the hell their problem is. So, hey, Midway Farms, thank you for your prayers. I appreciate it. CMD 222, yeah, L3 to S5. Wow, that's a hell of a fusion. How was your recovery on that? I'm just having L4 and L5 fused, but the pain is just like I spend 90% of my time in bed on the heating pad because I just can't move. So, you know, I'm hoping the fusion recovery isn't horrible, but I've heard it's pretty rough. Thanks for your prayers, Winter Homestead. I appreciate it. Good morning, Heaven's Fire. How are you? Can somebody show Mr. Azar out? I'm assuming it's a Mr., but you know, that's not called for here. Please be respectful. For pain, yeah, you know, I'm on muscle relaxers and pain meds and things, and they make the pain bearable, but then I can't function, so I hate taking any of that crap. Thanks for getting rid of him, Heaven's Fire. I appreciate it. So I tried physical therapy, and that just made things so much worse. PT, I couldn't even like get up to go to the privy. It was absolutely excruciating for like 4 to 5 days afterwards. So that's a no-go for me. So yeah. So I guess right now the main holdup is just waiting for, like, the lawyer has a general idea of what we need, but we're still waiting for the quote from the demo and moving and setup and pad company. So we should have that soon. So, oh, a 5K after recovery, that's awesome. 6 months up and walking the same day, that's fantastic. That gives me a lot more hope than what I've been reading online. My cervical disc replacements that I had done last year, you know, I couldn't get out of bed. They didn't want me getting out of bed for like a week to 10 days. Lifting nothing over a glass of milk, or not a glass of milk, a gallon of milk, for quite a while. And I couldn't ride motorcycle until like 3 months afterwards, and even then I had to have like a hard collar on. So really, that's the problem with these pop-up lives, is that you get people in that just, want to poke the bear and be rude and inconsiderate. But I guess you'll have that. But I guess everybody does that, right? Hey, Donnie, how are you? Thanks, Celtic Grandma. I appreciate it. But we had a little mishap on the homestead, either last night or early this morning. My 12-year-old's been taking care of the rabbits, which is awesome because I can't bend over to do it. Nevertheless, walk over there. And she's been doing a great job, but apparently last night she didn't latch the male's cage very well. So when my husband came out this morning, the bottom, hey Turk, how are you? The bottom of the cage was open, and all but one of the males are under the barn. So when she gets up, I'm going to teach her how to set a live trap, and we're going to find, where they went under the barn, and she's going to set it and bait it, and she doesn't even know it yet, but hopefully we can get them all caught and back into the hutch. Turk, I'm going to make you a mod too. You're always in here for me, so I appreciate that. There you go. And you too, Winter Homestead. There you go. Yeah, as far as we know, they're alive. He didn't exactly get to count them this morning, and I don't see any remains around for them. Our one dog loves to eat rabbits. She catches wild ones all the time, and I worry about her. Thanks, Winter Homestead. So hopefully we can catch them all. If we can't, she probably eventually will. And it's sad, but at the same time, it's like all of my butchering equipment and everything got destroyed. And these, hey, Surviving in Alabama, how are you? So all of my equipment to butcher and process, that's all gone, and our freezer is totally full, trying to save everything from the other fridges and whatnot. So I really can't butcher. I've been trying to sell them live to people. I do have our females sold, but not the males. So if we do lose some to the dogs, or if they go wild and start breeding around here, I mean, it's part of the homesteading heartache, right? So we'll just see how it all pans out, and I'll keep y'all updated. So any prepsteading questions today? Any prepping questions, homesteading, anything, anything you need to know about us over here? I'm happy to answer within reason. We know some of the strangers pouring in sometimes do that. Hey, prepping artists, how are you? Glad to see you. So it's, sorry, cat's got something in her mouth over there in the field. So, it's a little chillier today than it has been. Hey, Oops, how are you? There we go. We didn't get to do the garden this year at all. Baby chicks are still alive. I actually reached down and held one today. I got a picture. I'll put it on my Facebook later if you're on there, Dawn. Thanks for your prayers, CMD. My biggest fear right now is not the surgery. It's not even getting the house, because I know we will have something for winter. There's no way we're going to let the insurance companies get away with not doing that before then. But the recovery is scaring the crap out of me. Just thinking, we will have an outhouse before then. I know my husband will make sure that. Hey, Chance, how are you? Glad you could make it, even if it's just for a little bit. We'll have an outhouse, we'll have an outdoor shower, but not having all the comforts of home when I'm recovering from back surgery and still having to walk that far to the outhouse. When I was recovering from my cervical spine surgery, I was recovering in my bedroom with a master bath, and even getting from the bed to the shower for the first couple days, that was a hell of a challenge. This is going to affect my walking a lot more. So not having a decent home to recover in is really, you know, not my cup of tea. So surviving in Alabama, I am in the southern tier of New York State, Broome County to be specific. Hey KP, how are you? My favorite Cajun. Even if you're not technically Cajun, if you're from Louisiana, to us up here, you're Cajun. What made me decide to move here? Well, it's a kind of a long story. So I grew up in the snow belt of New York State, up in Onondaga and Oswego counties. Moved to, hey Greenleaf, how are you? Moved to Hawaii for a couple years as a teenager. But in all that time growing up, we spent most of our summers down at the family homestead in Pennsylvania, central PA. So even when I was in Hawaii, I was always back here. Halfway through my senior year, hey Teresa, how are you? Halfway through my senior year, my stepdad at the time and my mom moved us all to Maui. So I went to high school there for a year, and then my mom couldn't get a job as a nurse. She had just finished nursing school when we moved out there. And then the state had a hiring freeze on nurses out there. So they moved us all back to Pennsylvania halfway through my senior year. So while I was there, I started going to Penn State, and I met who eventually would become my first husband. And the family moved back to Hawaii. I stayed here, did the whole, buy a house, have a kid kind of thing. And then when we divorced, my mom had divorced also and had moved up here to Broome County with to be closer to her sister. And so when I got divorced, I moved up here to be closer to her and the rest of my family. So that's how I ended up here. And then I met my now husband, and we bought our house, and then we got married, and then we had a couple more kids, and here we are. So let's see if I missed anything or anyone. No, looks like everything's going good. But as far as prepping goes, when I was younger, I was practically raised by my great aunts and my grandmother, and they were all children of the Depression. So I was like sort of ingrained with, prepare for blizzards, prepare for, if something goes bad, always have a house full of food, be your own grocery store. So I always had, a decent stockpile of food, even in my single days. Excuse me. But when my husband and I, and in my house in Pennsylvania, I also had a decent sized garden and chickens and things like that. And we hunted and fished and did all that stuff. But then when I moved up here, I was single for quite a while, and I still had a stockpile of everything. But then when my husband and I bought this place, one of the reasons we bought this place is because it had a decent amount of land. We bought this property for the land, not for the house. Although we made the house a lot better than it was when we bought it. It was small and not really, it was okay, but we did a lot of improvements to it, and made it ours, and now that's all gone. But a lot of divorce and a lot of drama. Just one divorce surviving in Alabama. One divorce, one child from that divorce, and then my husband and I have been together. It'll be our 13th anniversary coming up in October. So hey Devil Dog, how are you? Let's see here. And so right away we started a garden. Almost immediately we ended up getting chickens and goats, and then we had ducks, and we've had pigs, and we've had beef cows and milk cows. Taxes high. Well, it's New Yorkistan, so generally the taxes are pretty high. However, we live, Broome County has lower taxes than most other counties, and we live in an ag zone, so that really helps keep our taxes really low here. Yes, if anybody can hit the like button, that's awesome. If you're watching me on a phone, you can double tap on the screen, and that'll automatically hit the like button. A little a little trick I learned from Hudson Valley. And Heaven's Fire was probably typing as I was talking. So yeah, we've basically had just about every kind of animal, except for sheep and alpacas. Everything else, and llamas, obviously. Like the fleece animals, we haven't really had, but we've had everything else. We've milked goats. I've milked cows. I've done the cheese making, the yogurt making, the cream separating, and butter making, all of that stuff. So even though we don't have those things right now, I still have the equipment. I could start right up and do it again if my back wasn't, messed up. So, so I do have a fair, like, broad expanse of knowledge of those things. So if people have questions, I'm happy to answer them. And we tried to raise our animals with as little pharmaceutical intervention as possible. I have a great friend. His name is Mo. He grew up farming in the Netherlands, and they have a more holistic approach to everything there. So he gave me lots of great recipes and natural methods and things to use instead of using like antibiotics and chemicals and all this stuff when treating your cows and goats. Sometimes antibiotics are necessary, but we always try to avoid that stuff as much as possible. And he just gave me a great wealth of knowledge. As far as that stuff's concerned, I have a little notebook tucked away with all of his, recipes and methods in it that I just love. See you later, Dawn. Enjoy breakfast. Hey, JC Fixer. There's one of my local people. So yeah. So, any questions, comments, concerns? I'm here. Almost out of coffee though, so I might get a little snarky. Looks like Sansa's our Great Pyrenees mix. She is over sniffing around the rabbit hutches and looks excited. So I'm betting they're trying to get back to their hutch, but I had to close it because that white one was still in there. So purple gentian, awesome for wounds for rabbits. It's a dye, but it doesn't harm them. That's good to know. Heaven's Fire. That's awesome. Massage therapy, yeah, definitely. I don't know if you're talking about for the animals or for me, but either way, I've seen that it does work. It definitely helps. But now that you mentioned like wounds on rabbits, Heaven's Fire, one of the grossest things I've ever had to do, and it was actually really cool, and I loved it. I hope I don't have to do it again just because it's so painful for the animal. But our one of our rabbits got a bot fly once, and our teenager was like 8 or 9 at the time, and so she held the rabbit for me, and I had to like spray a little bit of peroxide right there so the bot fly would like stick its head out of the hole. And then I had to like pinch in behind it and like get tweezers and like slowly pull it out. Like as it would undulate and contract, I had to do it slowly as to not open up the wound more. And we did use blue coat on that wound, and it sealed it up really good. So yeah, that was gross, and it was really cool too. I do have a video of it somewhere. If it ever comes up in my like Facebook memories, or if I can ever find it on my iCloud, I will definitely save it and post it because it was just really interesting. And it's one of those things. Shortly after that happened, our cat got one too. So being that I had the experience with the rabbit, I was able to do it a lot quicker and a lot easier. My husband got to hold the cat that time, and that wasn't so much fun for him, but you do what you have to do to keep your animals healthy. Never had good goat experience. I've always had good luck with pigs. So we've had a couple of bad experiences with just about every kind of animal we've raised. We've had chickens and ducks slaughtered by foxes and coyotes. We had an owl in our barn once that killed off our chicken flock and our guinea hens. We've had, I've got the hiccups. We've had goats get out of the fences. Those things are evil. They were in pretty good, and we had a 5-strand electric fence. But they actually, we had a pygmy goat and her name was Sissy. My best friend has her now because she actually found a low spot in their pasture on a hill, and she figured out she could get a running start, stick all four legs out and belly slide under that low spot in the fence, and the other goats learned from watching her. So that was the beginning of the end for goats for us. Um, and I had one goat. Her name was Snickers, and she was the sweetest thing. Absolutely loved her. And she went into her first heat, and she just turned evil, and she wanted to kill me. Like, I could not go into their pasture or do anything without her absolutely trying to murder me. So, you know, if a neighbor didn't buy her, she was going to go to freezer camp real fast. Pigs we've had a lot of good luck with. They've gotten out too. Fencing here, we're right on top of the Marcellus Shale, so our soil is so hard and rocky. So to try to get fence posts deep enough to last without getting like wiggled free is really rough. So we've had pigs get out and we've had to herd them back in, but we've always gotten them back in, and you know, we've always had a freezer full of pigs, and I would like to get them again and soon, but the whole house bullshit has really taken up all of our time, energies, and money. So, yeah. Oh, goodness. It almost feels like a spring day or a fall morning. It's really, really cooled off. I don't know what tomorrow's weather's supposed to be, but we have some friends coming in from out of state to visit on Saturday. And, of course, it's supposed to wash out. So, I'm really glad my aunt got us this thing up here. It's like supposed to be like a outdoor like carport thing, and it's pretty heavy duty, so I think we'll be fine. Yeah, I'm with you. Oops, I don't do well with the heat. I'm fine with this. Like if I have to put on a little sweater or something, I'm great. The heat with my POTS syndrome, heat and I don't mix. um the problem with having POTS and fibromyalgia though is that in the heat my fibromyalgia does great. Like my pain levels with that are low. It's awesome. But in the heat, my POTS syndrome goes haywire and I'm ready to pass out. In the winter, my fibro flares up from the cold, but my POTS syndrome settles down because I'm not overheated. So, you know, fall and spring are my times. If it could just stay that way all year round, I'd be great. So what are you guys all gonna do to prep this weekend? I'd love to hear you know, what y'all got going on. And um yes, I have tried colloidal silver, and actually I use that a lot on udder wounds. When I had cows, like sometimes they would scratch themselves on briars or thorn apples or the fence or something. I've used it on them. When the rabbit and cat had their bot flies that year, it was before I'd learned about colloidal silver, so I didn't use it then. But we use it as a family. I use it on the animals. Great stuff. I did have a brewer, and guess what happened to it? It exploded with my kitchen. So that's one of the things that I will be replenishing once we get this all settled. Hopefully it's not too late, and you know we aren't, you know, in the middle of World War III and supply chain issues when that happens. Another reason we need to get this done sooner rather than later. I won't get too much into the politics in the news right now, but um, amp it up if you can. If you're at all able, do what you can as soon as you can. Important stuff. Put up storm shutter tracks, illegally logs. Just the tracks for the storm shutters? Or I'm not really sure what that means, Turk, or Tuck, sorry, not Turk. But I'd be interested to know. And if there's ever anything anybody wants to ask about or you know talk about but not in front of everybody, feel free to email me southerntierprepper@gmail.com, and I can either talk about it anonymously on my channel, or I can just, you know, I'm happy to just email you back and answer or talk about whatever. um, Wanted to can your garden, but garden isn't doing good. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, winter homestead. You know, definitely use it as a learning experience, though. Do what you can to figure out what's going wrong so you can remedy it in the future for sure. Hey Ed, how are you? Little ways outside Oneonta. Oh, okay. Yeah, Ed, you're not far from me at all. We haven't gone in the last couple years, but we're big fans of Brooks Barbecue over there. The only thing is they have MSG in their sauce, so every time I have it, like first couple bites, I start getting like a club to the head migraine. But I still love it. So good. Chicken and a case of bacon from the Amish tomorrow. That you're not going to Bainbridge for that, are you? Pine Ridge Grocery, love it over there. Okay, I'll try to Google that, Tuck, if I can remember it. I can't really go back and see the live chat comments once the live is over, but you know, I'll try to remember that. Working on canning and replacing some stuff around the house. It needs to be awesome. Good thing to be doing for sure. CMD. Fuel storage, yes, and fuel storage and building materials. Those are all going to go up very quickly. We're going to see prices jump more than they did during the pandemic. I guarantee it. Watching your son chopping wood. Hey, supervisory roles are important, right? You've got to save your muscles for all that concrete work. Weaver store. I don't know that one, Ed. I'd be interested to know where that is for sure. Thanks, Tuck. Reminders are good, especially at my age. Going to the log show this weekend. Husband's a logger. He drives. Oh, that's awesome. I've always wanted to go to one of those. Sometimes at the New York State Fair when I was growing up, they would have like the the two-man saw contests, and they would have the guys on the logs, like, making them spin and staying afloat as long as possible. That was awesome. Hey, CUCV, how are you? 20 gallons of RV gas that got used around the generator. Power went off Tuesday morning. Oh, yeah. Very important. Good thing to top that off as soon as possible. If you can get the no e-gas, the ethanol free, it'll store a lot longer and it's a lot better on your small engines. About a sawmill. That's on my husband's wish list. It's definitely something we want. The person who owned this property before us had a timber business, so we don't have, well, I shouldn't say we didn't have a ton of sawmill worthy trees when we first moved in. Now there's quite a few more, and my husband's been trying to do some forestry management over the years to let the good trees grow bigger, and we've been taking down some of the nuisance wood that's smaller. We'll see how that does. But we also cut a lot of our own firewood too, so we buy some too. It's a necessity, or else we'd clear cut our land a year or two, and we don't want to do that. But you do what you got to do. 90 octane's good, but if you can get the ethanol free, I don't know if 90 is ethanol free or not. I just know that there's only certain gas stations around here that we can get the no e-gas, and that's what we put in our motorcycles, our generators, and anything with a small engine, chainsaws, all that stuff. I'm with you, oops. We've got chainsaws and sharpeners and axes and splitting mauls and a gasoline wood splitter and all that stuff. I mean, self-sufficiency is the only way that you're going to make it long term. You can stack stuff to the rafters as high as you want, but if you outlive your preps and you haven't had a consistent resupply plan, yeah, you're going to live longer, but you can't outlast your preps. Yeah, for sure. Management is vital. I don't know, Tuck. Don't fail. Right, not all is ethanol free. And JC, you're in our area, like some stations have it, some stations don't. And as much as our power goes out and people have to run generators, I don't know why every gas station around here doesn't have it. Okay, so it seems like every area has a different levels for ethanol free. I don't even know what ours is. Next time we're out and about, I'll have to check and see. Oh goodness. Just checking on the birds. Let's see here. Store that sells 105 octane non-ethanol racing fuel. Yeah, I bet that would be expensive. We have a racetrack not far from here, and I guess we could go buy racing fuel there, but we're not rich, and we don't have that kind of budget. So acreage are we on? Well, when we bought the place, we were told it was close to 8 acres. We had to have the county reevaluate our property lines because they tried to combine our property with the fields next door that belonged to the farmer whose tractor hit our house one year, and so we had to contest that because they sent us his tax bill. And so come to find out, we're only on about 6 acres, but it works for us. Any more than that, it would be hard to manage. So, and I'd want a lot more cows, and my husband would not be down with that. So, removing ethanol from gas. Now, that's a video my husband would like to watch, I'm sure. Yeah, kerosene does hurt buying. I don't know how much it is right here, right now. But I know for a while last year it was over $5 a gallon here. Race fuel, awesome. Hi, I'm not sure if it's Heige or Higgy Homestead, but hello, how are you? Yeah, and remember though, if you do have trouble getting fuel oil, or you can't afford to get a whole fill up, I know a lot of places have minimum deliveries. You can always go to the gas station and get 5-10 gallons of kerosene and run that in your fuel oil furnace. That is like sort of a bypass that won't hurt anything. Ruga Homestead, or is that just is that how you pronounce it, or are you saying that to something else, like about the race fuel or something? I'm not sure. Oh my. But it is turning out to be a beautiful day. I wish I could walk around the property a little bit more, but I don't really want to kill myself or get stuck down there. My husband's at work, so all I need is for for my teenager to have to come and try to drag me off at the driveway. ENSK, small airport nearby. Ethanol free for the point. Yep. And if you have a pilot in your mag, might be a handy thing. We do. We tried to plan our mag very strategically with different strengths and different professions. We have a doctor, a defense attorney, a nurse, a pilot, former Marine who's very good with tactics and defense. My husband and I have been homesteaders. We have, an herbalist and a beekeeper and a hardware store owner. His wife's a great hunter and canner. I mean, make sure that your mag skill set is well-rounded and everybody has their strengths, and then teach each other. Oh, that's awesome. Cozy home in Danish, Wooga. That's awesome. Learn something new every day. Yes, you can run diesel in the replacement of home heating oil. And we actually had to do that once when the fuel oil truck could not get up our driveway, but we could get in and out. We got a couple gallons of diesel to get us through till we could clear the driveway for them. The kerosene, if the temperatures are really low, kerosene's a little bit better because it doesn't gel up like diesel. Yeah, we're really happy with with the breadth of knowledge we have there. Now it's getting hot, sorry. An electrician, EMT trapper. That's awesome. My husband knows how to trap. He hasn't done it in a couple years, but he's still got all the stuff, and he's always, kind of scouting for places to do that. Everybody in our mag is a gardener and preserver. We also have people that are experts in essential oils. Let's see, what else do we have? Everybody is like an amateur builder. My husband's a professional builder, so there's that. We have small engine experience, mechanical experience, a home inspector, just all kinds of great people. 5th generation trapper. That's fantastic. Oops. I bet you have some really awesome antique trapping stuff. We love seeing that whenever we go to some of the auctions around here, and my husband's even picked up some of the stuff just because it's so cool. And they don't make stuff like that anymore. You can't find some of that high quality. Yeah, that's true. Not much to trap anymore. Where we live, though, there's not many people trapping, and not many people even hunt anymore. So, if somebody wanted to make a go of it, there's a lot around here. We have, we have mink and weasels and fishers even. I don't know if it's illegal to trap fishers. I think there might be a season. Lots of coyotes. My husband was out here listening to them in the middle of the night last night when he couldn't sleep. Lots of raccoons. There's almost everything. There was even some reports on a local Facebook page, and people were probably mistaking it for a fisher, or maybe even a beaver, but somebody was claiming to have seen a badger locally. And at first we thought they were full of it, but some other people chimed in saying that they had them on their trail cams a couple years ago. And I Googled it, and apparently they're rare, but we do have badgers in the area. So that was pretty interesting. 28 acres, that's awesome, Winter Homestead. Very cool. Well, yeah, CUCB. It's, for a lot of years when I was growing up, it was kind of rare to see a deer still. And now, I mean, they're everywhere. I could probably go out right now to certain roads that I know and, get one with my truck if I wanted to. Chippewa native and he eats coyote. It wouldn't surprise me. And in times of starvation, you're going to eat what you can. Go for it. I mean, I've eaten a lot of different things, but I haven't eaten coyote, I haven't eaten fox, but I've tried raccoon, I've tried woodchuck, I've tried bear, love elk and venison. And the bear and groundhog weren't bad. The ones I had were done in the crock pot, kind of like a pot roast, and they were pretty good. The bear was a little greasy. It probably could have been trimmed up better, but I didn't mind it. Wow. Oops, did you sell the hides of those raccoons? Yeah, right, Chuck. Our town actually had 2 gators a couple of years ago in our rivers, and one person sighted them. People were like, "Ha ha, you're full of it." And then people got pictures of it, and then next thing you know, it was like a full-on hunt. The DEC was out here, everybody on kayaks out looking for these things, and they did catch them. There were 2 about 4-foot-long alligators that they caught, and they now have a home in our local animal park. See you later, JC Fixer. Small engine nonsense. Yep, amen to that, JC. Tried spam once, only once, Devil Dog. I'm sure with your culinary skills, you could really dress it up and make it really awesome. Bobcat's not bad, but you haven't had coyote. That's cool. I haven't eaten anything in the canine or feline families. Not to say I wouldn't try it, but remember that if you eat anything that that is a carnivore, you need to make sure you cook the shit out of it, because you're more likely to have a parasite load in it. So you want to make sure you bring that up to temp and cook it all the way through. Gave some to friends, but you kept most. Cool. See, devil dog's on it. I don't even know what Jackie Boy said, but thank you. Gator semi-regular. I've had gator. When I lived in Pennsylvania, there was a restaurant there that was a Cajun restaurant, and I went there for a business lunch once, and I wasn't gonna pass up the opportunity to have it. Wasn't bad. It was a little rubbery, but it did taste like the flavor was like chicken, but the texture was a little tougher and more rubbery than gator, or than chicken. I mean. Now I'm curious as to what he said, but you don't need to tell me. It's all right. Try coyote. See, the sun came out and it was warm, and now it's gone and the wind's picking up again. So let's see here. You guys are on it. I love you guys. You're awesome. So, okay, so since we're talking about weird exotic foods, raccoon can be like that. Yeah, the raccoon I had, like I said, it was done in the crock pot and it was really good. The raccoon, woodchuck, and bear that I tried were all done in the crock pot. I would probably want to do it in the pressure canner, or pressure cooker, just to make sure that that it got like super high temp and it was really falling apart and any parasites and eggs would have been killed. If everything tastes like chicken, what does chicken taste like? Yeah. I mean, I guess chicken is our earmark. Like everybody's tried it, so everybody knows what that tastes like. But frog legs and squirrel, they taste like chicken too. Good to see you turning guns. Hey, Palmetto Paratrooper, how are you? Good to see you. I wasn't sure I would get anybody in here this time of day on a Thursday, but glad to see everybody. Trash Panda. That's like my favorite nickname for an animal for sure. In our homeschool co-op, my son's age group, they did their science fair project on raccoons, and that was one of their bullet points, is that their nickname was Trash Panda. Palmetto, help. What do you need help with, honey? Ooh, try iguana. See, now I would try that. When I lived in Hawaii, they had a lot of wild iguanas and like huge chameleons and geckos and things. And I don't do reptiles, like I don't like them, but I would eat them. I've eaten alligators, so I would definitely try an iguana. See you later, CMD. Have a good day. Autocorrect hates me. I've come to the conclusion that it's trying to get me, get people mad at me and get me banned on Facebook, and even text messages. It's trying to start fights. So snake and turtle, but not lizard. I've had turtle too. I actually love turtle soup, but I haven't had it in many, many years. Near Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, I'm not one for the exotics. Like, I've never been to Florida. I've been all over the world, but I've never been to Florida. And I can't say that I would be thrilled to see any of those pythons or snakes down there. One of the things I love about living up here is, yes, we have some snakes. We have a lot of garter snakes, milk snakes, rat snakes, that type of thing. But as far as poisonous snakes, they only find like a rattlesnake up here once in a great while. Where I used to live in Pennsylvania, they had a rattlesnake hunt, like in a state park right next to where I lived. I mean, rattlesnakes and copperheads were everywhere, and I hated that. But clouds are moving pretty fast. I think the front's moving through. So I just got a 20% low battery warning on my phone. So turtle sauce picante. Ooh, surviving in Alabama. You'll have to email me that recipe, because we do have a small frog pond that we sometimes get turtles in. Maybe I could grab a snapper. Some kind of python in West Tennessee now. Oh no, I love Tennessee, but no, you get pythons up there and I'm done. Yeah. I am like totally terrified of even garter snakes. Like my one kid will pick them up, and that's just not me. You want to hear me scream and see me jump, like have one of those things, like surprise me. I will, I'll kill just about anything. And I've killed snakes too. If I've got a garden tool in my hand, they're done. But, not like bugs don't scare me, but reptiles and rodents, I don't do those. I don't mind spiders. I put bats in the rodent category. Had one stuck in my hair once when I was a kid. Um, yeah, I don't do those. Yeah, if somebody else is gonna go near it and catch it, I'll cook it, but don't bring that live thing near me. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully they get those soon. So, um, but okay, now it's telling me 10%. So apparently the 20% was a lie. So I've probably got to get going. I will try to go live again this week, or well, in the next 7 days. I mean, this week's almost over, but I thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, feel free to email them to me, and I'll either email you back or I'll answer them on the next pop-up live. So y'all have a great weekend if I don't see you before then. Don't forget to ramp up your prepping the best that you can and do your research and prep on.